skills, part of this unit that you need to be good at. And maybe part of it is making sure you don't make a mistake when you type it in. So I typed all of this into L1. I already have it sorted, even though it's not necessary if you're just wanting to find the mean median mode. So I find that my mean is 192.51. What are we talking about? What are our units in? It says all amounts are in cents. So you just go like, you just add cents to it. Okay, standard deviation is right here, 11.74 cents. Range is the largest, right, to 16.9 minus 161.9, and my range is 55 cents. I also want to mention that, right, N is 40, and in this particular case, what does that mean? The average gas prices in various cities across Canada on May 6th. So that represents cities, right? Number of cities. So sometimes I will ask you, what does N represent in this scenario? And you must read carefully, right? Okay. We got that figured out. Interval. Again, I will most likely give you some sort of indication of what I want you to go up by. In this case, I said 5 cents. So you need to go to 165, and then 165 to 170, 170 to 175. So just make sure you take your time and don't miss anything. Okay? This keeps on going. I will soon take out the key and just show you the key. All right? Will I give you a very long one to do on a test? Probably not, because then I have to check like 40 values, right? Make sure you didn't miss one. But you can expect 20 to 25 values for sure. 200 to 205, 205 to 210, 210 to 215, 215 to 220. Oh, and I also want to mention, did I miss one? Thank you. I can't talk and do this at the same time. Thank you, Hizon. You're paying attention. I'm going to first do this and then we'll talk, okay? 200 to 205, 205 to 210, 210 to 215, 215 to 220. Okay, I also want to mention this. If you ever fill this in and you happen to have a value that is beyond the last one, then just add a row, okay? I know that sometimes my charts may not be completely accurate, so you just gotta add a row or two to make it work, okay? So that's just it. But I would first double check to make sure you did everything right. You didn't skip a width. Tally, what is tally is when you actually go through your numbers, sort it. So I would first say sort your list. Okay, sort your list, perfect. You go to L1, and then 161.9 is between this, so you make a mark. 163.9 goes in there. I would actually use this. 168 gets you into the next one. Um, 173 gets you in here. 173.9 goes in there as well. 177 goes in there. And so forth. Oh, it's a class that is going to the library. Okay, got it. Anyway, so you basically fill in every interval with the appropriate number of values, right? 178.9 goes in here as well. So I will just show you the key at this point. And then you will check to make sure you got this right. So I made my table. And so basically all I want you to check is these numbers right here along the right side. If you're off only once, we'll take off half a mark once, okay? But because if you're off in one category, you're probably going to be off on the other ones as well. So just check. If you got all of these exactly like I have, you get 2 out of 2 for this table. So just check real quick if you got this. And I always end up counting and make sure that this indeed adds up to the 40, so I didn't miss any. Okay. And again, some of you, this is old school, but when we count, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then instead of a 5th line, we actually go across like that. That's a bundle of 5. Okay, if you see that, the mark across, the line across, so we can count by 5s. It's easier to do that. Okay, so that's tally. Tally is like your running count, and then frequency is like your final count when you add up all the tallies. Okay, so 2 out of 2 there. Then you're supposed to draw a histogram and a frequency table. For the histogram, watch this. I'm trying to zoom out to make sure I have these ones in there. This is what's going to help you develop your histogram. So I'm going to start at 160 and I'm going to go to 165. Then from 165 I'm going to go to 170 and so forth. So if you look at the graph, I'm going to now zoom in. Okay, I introduced that zipper there because I'm skipping a bunch of values and I start at 160. And I use 2 boxes. Hold on. No, I do go up by 5. So 165, 170, 75, 80. So use your frequency table to help you develop the width of the bar. And it looks very messy right now. What I did first and foremost is my histogram. Okay, that's what I did first. So my histogram tells me that between 160 and 165 I have a frequency of 2. So my bar goes up to 2. Right? Then I had 1, then I had 2 and 2 and so forth. Okay? So my bars I did those first, and then for the frequency polygon, which is just the midpoints connected, I just make a dot halfway through each bar, and that ensures that I'm actually hitting the midpoints. Okay, you don't need to calculate them. You just go right over top of the bars that you've created. One thing is to make sure that your frequency polygon touches the x-axis. You have to actually close it at the ends, and that's what you're supposed to get. I chose to go up by 2s here because I had to accommodate a 19, right? A bar of 19. That's why I came up with 20. So the frequency is the cities, and the interval along the bottom is the gas price in cents. Okay, so same as before, you label everything. And then you plot first you draw your bars, then your frequency polygons. I'll tell you this, let's say I just go straight to frequency polygons. If you want to draw a histogram and then the frequency polygon on top of it, that's fine. Okay, I'm okay with you doing both every time. Just let me know which one is your frequency polygon. I just need to know that you know which one is which. Okay, so if you wanted to do the bars like that, and you say this is the histogram, and that the line is the frequency polygon, just have a legend there, then it's fine. Because a lot of students like the histogram because they know exactly what to do, the width, no need to calculate your midpoints, right? And then just do the midpoints over top of that. So this page is worth 7 marks if you did it. I'm going to be quite gracious today, so if you feel like you know, I got it all right except for a small mistake. Just take off half or a mark, and then it's 6 out of 7. If you, like, I'm not going to be too picky today. If you did the work, that's what I'm rewarding right now, that you went through the steps and you actually tried it. Okay? Backside. This one, a lot of students struggle with, so you're not alone if you got this one wrong. I'm actually going to not show you the key at first because I need to walk you through it. I didn't do one of these in our notes. So we have a frequency table. It's almost like two frequency tables at the same time. Okay, so what do we need to do first when we want to find the mean standard deviation and stuff like that? We need to find the midpoints. So I'll find that first. How do you find the midpoints? Do you remember that? x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Right? So you add these up, divided by 2. That is what? 5. This is 15. This is 25. So whenever there is an interval, you need to find, in this case it's actually quite simple. There's a pattern. It's whatever is in between. Okay? So you need the midpoints there. I would say that is a mark in my books. Like, you finding the midpoints is a mark because it's a concept. And that must go into L1. Okay? And I first want to talk about class A. So that goes into L2. So to figure out class A here, let's go to this little thing here. I want to find the mean, the standard deviation, and the number of, what does n represent in this case? Test scores, students, yeah, test scores or students, I would accept both. So for class A, we got to go L1 and L2. So I already took the liberty to enter this, so watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to paste, what did I do there? I'm going to paste L3 into L1 there. And I'm going to paste L4 into that. So I have this already entered. So I go stat, calculate one variable stats, L1 comma L2. You have to go L1, L2. So the mean, the average score for this class is 62.06%. Because remember, the test score is percent. Standard deviation, 16 on the nose, 16.00. N is in this case 34. So class A involves 34 students, and that's the 34 that I got from here. So class A, I use L2, all right? So watch what I'm going to do with this one. I'm going to leave this in L1, and I'm going to put class B in L3. I'm going to put that in L3 instead. If you choose to just overwrite whatever is in L2 with this, go for it, but I think it would be too much. Maybe you need to check or change things. So I'm going to make this L5. There we go. So now I'm going to go L1. I'm going to leave my midpoints in there, and I'm going to feed it L3 as my frequency. Okay, so stat, one variable stats, L1, comma, L3. I hit enter, and the average for that class is 67.5%. The standard deviation is 27.5, and there are 32 students in that class. Okay, so if you did it right, this is what you get. I would say you get 1 mark for each. And I'm just going to say that if you miss the fact that you need to go L1 and L2, you lose the mark, okay? The first mark you lose, the second one I will give you for consistency. Okay, but if you forgot to use L1, L2, you're going to have 10 here. N is going to be 10 because you just entered 10 values, right? So that's how you know you forgot to put in L2 or L3 in this case. So this is two different frequency tables in one, okay? B, by what is the significance or the meaning of n in this chart? It represents, sorry, I can write. It represents the number of students, okay, or the number of test scores. I would accept either one. So you get a mark for that, if you get that right. If Mr. D is primarily seeking consistency when it comes to his assessments, which class would meet the criteria? Explain how you know. Which of these two classes is most consistent? Which one? Class A? Why? Exactly. Standard deviation is lower, so the consistency is higher. Okay? Yes. Class A is more consistent, comma, because you got to tell me how you know specifically. Because the standard deviation is lower than class B. This tells us, I'm going to go further, tells us that the scores are closer to the mean. Okay? They're closer to the mean. So if you had that line plot, you would see them closer to the mean on average. Okay? Make sure you are able to answer a question like that. I would say it sums up everything we're doing here. Next, graph a frequency polygon for both classes using the same grid. Use a solid line for class A, so I'm going to go class A, and use a dashed line for B. Some of you use color, that's even better, probably. And along the x-axis we have scores, and in this case they represent percentages. Along the y-axis we've got number of students. Okay? And I'm going to do you can start from 0, and I'm going to go to 10 here. I'm going to use 2 bars for 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And the bar height, you have to look which one is the highest number you have in both of these classes. You've got 10 here, 10 there. So 10 is the highest bar you ever going to have to worry about. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That works. So just make sure you tell me exactly where the numbers go. Try to tell me with a mark it up pretty good on your axes to make sure I know where the numbers go. Okay, it said frequency polygon, right? So in this case, I would say maybe don't do two histograms and frequency polygon because it gets a little messy. But you know the midpoints, right? So let's follow the first one, class A. Between the first one is 0, right? The next one is 0 as well, between 10 and 20. Another 0 between 20 and 30. 30 to 40, you've got 5. So it goes there. 40 to 50, you've got 3. And you've got 6. And you've got 7. And 10. And 2. And 1. Okay, so that's class A. So I'm going to use a solid line. So technically you need to connect all of these I'm not going to see it if you didn't connect them, so you got away with it. Make sure you close it up. Right, so that's your Class A graph. You can see that it's skewed towards the right, like towards the, between 70 and 80, we had most of our students were in there. Now I'm going to go dashed line. So for Class B, I also have a 0 here. Then I've got a 3 here. Then it's 2. Then it's 1. Then it's 3 and 3. So there's a little tricky here because you share 1 point. 3 and 3, I've got 2, back to 3, 5, and then 10. Okay? So this one I'm going to make dashed, right? So it goes dashed like that. It goes to that point here. Goes like this. There's nothing more exciting than graphing on a Monday morning, right? Oops. And then just make sure you close it. Okay. So there are both of your classes. Can you tell that Class B is a bit more spread out? Right? Like look at this, it's like low here. It's very spread out. Whereas Class A is a little bit more chunked up, like it's steeper, right? Like it's a bit more clustered. So I don't know, I hope that you see that. And so this is how you would do it. This is the 2-in-1 deal here, right? So why 4 marks? I would give you 2 marks for doing Class A properly. Actually, technically, by the time you're done Class A, you already have 3 marks because you had to do your labeling and your scaling. That's worth a whole mark. And then you had to connect the points. So 3 marks for Class A and then another mark for Class B because Class B is really just putting the points on the grid to make it happen again. So this page is worth 10 marks as well. Okay. So I hope that those of you who did it, this helped you kind of finalize and maybe get a bit of a